I never learned any of this in high school. Like in high school, in elementary, we were taught about colonialism, Spaniards, Americans, and all that, but we never thought about pre-colonial. Why is that? Why do you think is that? As a person who writes comic books about these kind of stuff.
I think primarily because education system is designed to answer test questions, and most of the test paper are talking about
Makes sense.
colonial period,
Yeah.
not about pre-colonial. But
Welcome to your favorite podcast. Thank you for joining us. We know this is your favorite podcast. This is the Maximum Filipino Show.
Hello.
This is a special podcast right now. I'm being joined by Wakka. How's it going, Wakka?
I'm doing great. I'm just excited today.
You're excited. How are you feeling? This week it's been really, I don't know. It's been really stressful. I don't know if you noticed. I've been stressed this past few weeks.
Nah, I wouldn't have noticed because you would. Oh, maybe. I don't know. You're always in your room, but then again, maybe you're right. I haven't paid attention. Have you been stressed out?
Well, because you just launched you guys' product at work, so you're probably more focused on that.
Well, fair.
Than anything.
Yeah. I've been busy with work, so. But yeah, why are you stressing out?
I don't know. It's just a lot of things that it's been happening at work, with youth, and we don't have a lot of youth. But I don't want to stress out more of that. But it's like sometimes it just gets me.
Bro, I could never notice. You're always happy. You're always jolly. You're always teasing me, clowning on me.
Or you just like I said, you just okay. So remember our conversation about people on the phone, like when they're on the phone, like zone in the phone. Okay. You, on the other hand, is not just on the phone but work. That's when you're workaholic. It's like, when I'm doing something, I'm just focused on this, and I'm not gonna focus anything else, anywhere else, to whoever else.
That's what happens to being a single guy, and that's all I can do is work. And if I go out, that means I need to spend money. I'm like, why would I need to spend money? I got bills to pay.
Which is ironic, because you're single, but you're broke.
But
you have multiple families, though. No, I mean, when I say multiple families, I didn't mean
you
like...
make it sound so bad, man.
I didn't mean like you got other
you make
people
it sound
pregnant.
worse.
No, I'm not talking about that.
I'm
saying like you're helping your parents.
Like I'm on child care.
Child support.
Child support. Child care. Child support.
Oh, man. All right. Well, the reason why we're so excited for this podcast, and you guys know
That
this
hurts.
if you've been watching our podcast before, we've had guests in our podcast, right?
Yes.
Right now we're doing Learn Filipino Pod, and you know how Learn Filipino Pod works. If you want to know anything about Filipinos, our cultures, the people, the traditions, and things like that, what we're known for, and anything like that. So, I had an idea, because I'm the idea person of this group.
Yeah, basically.
I had an idea, so I was wondering, since Marvel, DC kind of a little bit here and there, but Marvel and comic book characters are coming up, and we did a podcast of Loki.
Yes. That was fun.
Black Widow came out, and all these comic book characters coming out. I realized
Coming to life.
Yeah, coming to life, and then I realized we have comic book artists in the Philippines. Why don't we feature them, since we are in Learn Filipino Pod?
Yeah, there's a lot of things I didn't know. I mean, of course, I just knew about PH, about the people being happy and all, and their, their, what they love. But all the other things like manga. When I think about manga or anything like that, characters, I think about Japan. But we dug deep on this. I was like, whoa. PH got their own stuff.
Oh my gosh, yes. Did you know that the one of the artists in Loki is Filipino?
Nah.
Yeah, dude. It's crazy. We're that good. And you will notice a lot of the artists in Disney animated characters, you would see like Filipinos in there. We're all over the place. Anyway, so I reached out to one of our friends, Melvin, and I asked him, "Hey, since you're an artist," he said, "Can I invite you in our podcast?" He said, "No, bro. You need to invite this person. Not me, but this person." I said, okay, all right. So I started looking him up. I slid some DMs and things like that, and he responded, which is amazing. I was so shocked. And
I was wondering how you got connected to our guest today.
All you have to do is just send the DMs. Slide in that DM. That's all you have to do. But
I'm happy today. Well, nice.
But anyway, our guest right now, he is the GM, the co-founder of Kawangis, and he will explain later on what the meaning of this whole thing. He's married. He has one wife and one daughter.
I expect that.
Yeah, I know. So please welcome Kuya Aria. Yes.
Hey, man.
Hey.
Yeah, we're glad to have you on, man.
Yes, yeah.
Thanks, Maximo Filipino, for inviting us here. It's our joy, to be able to not just serve the Filipino community in the Philippines, but everywhere in the world.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
That's right. I know, man. I was so excited because I was telling people that a lot of artists, like I said, in Disney and Marvel are Filipinos. They're like, no, we don't believe that. It's like, no, it's true. I mean, come on. This stereotype of Asians being talented, it's true. Come on. I'm like,
yeah,
it's
well,
obvious.
I didn't think much, because when I learned that you guys comics, I saw these interesting ones that they're good arting, but their character name, the one that got me is the one that changes kind of got my attention but shouldn't, the one that flips gender or whatever. One of you guys' comic characters.
What are you talking
I don't
about?
know. You guys have a little hero character comics. There's this one that's I think
You're talking about Ranma?
Are you talking about Rama?
No.
It's an anime.
No. It's
Oh no, not an anime.
It's you guys' original comic characters.
Superhero character?
Yeah, superhero characters.
Really?
I don't know. The one that.
What kind of
No.
what kind of cartoon are you watching, bro?
No. Don't make me look bad on this. Come on. I'm just saying. I was like, I didn't think that could be a hero. There was a character, a superhero character that. Anyway, I forgot the name. It's like starts with a D. Like she's almost like you guys' version of Wonder Woman.
Oh, Darna.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But she doesn't change gender. She just changed, like, she's still a woman. Darna to Narda.
Oh, I guess.
Okay.
Do you know who I'm talking about? He knows, apparently.
Yeah. That's Darna and Narda. Like, she swallows a rock and then yells Darna, and then turn to a Wonder Woman.
Or are you
looking...
talking about Jaja Saturna?
I don't know. I think he's too foreign for that. I think he's too foreign.
I'm way too foreign.
Yeah. All right. Well, Kuya Aria, first of all, we want to say thank you.
Yes.
Man, thank you for doing this. This is great.
My pleasure.
Yeah. So I know I've done my research, okay? Because just so you know, and people who's watching this podcast, I usually don't do research for our guests because I want the conversation to be organic and natural, and I do some research here and there. So I got too deep. Not really deep, but
so you fell in the rabbit hole of knowing.
I got into a rabbit hole of knowing the people, this Kawangis, because that's the first time I heard about you guys. So I found out that you guys used to own an ice cream cake company.
Yeah.
Right?
Wait, that's very, very different between what you guys are doing now and from how you guys started.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
Yep.
How did that happen?
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about you guys' personal background.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm. You'll be surprised. I am an industrial engineer by profession. And
Okay.
And my wife, Faye, she's a mass communication graduate, and she used to work for a publishing company. And then how it started was that we wanted to start our own business. Actually, the ice cream cake was not the first. We started with producing album for a church.
Okay.
We just did one. We produced it, and after that we did not push through with it anymore. And then we transitioned to ice cream cakes. So the idea there is that my wife makes really good ice cream cakes.
Oh man.
And then people were saying like, you should make a business out of this. And we listened to them and we made the business out of it. And I think it went good for a few months, and then eventually it died out. Primarily because ice creams are seasonal, especially when you're in the Philippines, and rain starts pouring, ice cream is already out of the picture.
But it's always hot.
It's usually just good during summertime.
Ice cream is good any day in the Philippines. I mean, maybe
in
because
the Philippines, when it starts raining, soup is the top
Yes.
seller.
I guess that's right. I mean, maybe because I'm a big guy, I sweat a lot, and anything that makes me cool down, ice cream is number one.
Yeah, definitely.
And ice cream
So
cake
yeah,
wasn't really that, at least when I was in the Philippines. So I got here in America 2012, and during that time, ice cream cake wasn't that popular, right?
yeah,
It's
that's
the ice cream
one
or
more
cake.
thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
And during the time that we did the business, online or e-commerce is not yet that popular here in the Philippines,
mm,
and people were not really into buying online, having things delivered to their home. They often prefer going to like the mall, buying at the mall.
makes sense.
So
Yeah.
the business was like primarily we were catering to schools and supplying ice cream cakes to canteens and stuff like that.
Mm,
But the thing is, during this season, the rainy season, there's a lot of school suspensions. So that means there are
Oh,
no actual sales during those times,
that
and
makes
we end
sense.
up having more of
okay.
spoilage than actual sales, because ice creams are not supposed to, the way we do it, it's not supposed to be on the shelf for a very long time. So
Fair.
we
Mm-hmm.
don't
Yeah.
put any we don't put any preservatives on there,
Oh,
so it just lasts a few days in the freezer.
I'm
So, and then
Oh,
disappointed.
we've
wow.
made a lot of losses from that, so we decided to just
Drop.
cut it.
Mm,
And that was also the time when we rehuddled, me and my wife, we rehuddled, and
okay.
we reevaluated, is this the right business we should be going into?
Mm.
Because for
Hmm.
one, none of us is a culinary background.
I
None
see.
of us is from a nutrition background. So having that expertise is really really helpful if you're in the food business, or at
Mm-hmm.
least that
Mm,
a working background on that one. And my working background
right.
is more on manufacturing, production, multinational companies, working with them, and also logistics. My wife is on the publishing side,
Mm,
and that's where we came up with the idea. Hey, I can write, you can draw.
hmm.
Why don't we merge it and let's try it out?
So
And
you
then
get
that's where Mai, the first comic series we
right.
created, was born.
So you guys went from just ice cream truck straight to artwork manga.
Comics. Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
Oh.
Kawangis Komiks actually started as an imprint of CSM Publishing.
Mm-hmm.
So what we did is we created an idea. We had an idea. We wanted to create a comics.
Mm,
We shared what would the story flow be like, what's the purpose, what's the core,
Mm-hmm.
who are we targeting, and then we presented it to publishers. And there's this
mm.
one publisher who took notice and said, "Hey, let's try it out."
Oh,
And then
yeah.
we tried it out, and that was the birth of Kawangis Comics.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
I'm,
Yeah.
That's
I'm glad
great.
that
And then
worked out.
after that,
Yeah.
eventually, uh, the publisher realized that comics, although they're very very interested with that particular product line, but it's not their forte.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
So it ended up like they gave us the rights to carry over the Kawangis Comics brand, and that's where the Kawangis Publishing was also born. So basically, we're a child of CSM Publishing.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
okay.
Huh.
Wow. Well,
So
you
that's
guys.
the story.
Yeah.
From
Interesting.
ice cream to comics.
Because I thought you said you did other businesses on the side, or was that just those two?
Oh no, yeah, it was just those two. We transitioned.
Interesting.
We did not really do both at the same time.
I see.
Well,
Yeah, that's kind of like that makes sense.
well, this transition
Yeah.
was a big hit. I mean, like he tells me that he read some of them when you were in school. No, right?
What?
Some of the books, or did you?
No,
read
no,
them?
no. I read them while I'm doing research.
Oh, you
And,
did?
Yeah, I was doing research and I was looking at their products. So speaking of the comics, so I know, like I said, I did a little bit of research about you guys. And Kuya Aria, you are the writer and the storyteller, and your wife Faye
Yes.
is the illustrator and the visual artist. Now my question is, how did you guys meet?
Okay. So remember when I said that she used to work for a publishing company?
Yeah.
Yes.
That CSM is based in Parañaque,
Mm.
and I used to work at that time. I used to work for UPS, United
Oh,
Parcel
okay.
Service,
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
and our offices were just like neighbors. And we have a common friend,
And then
hooked
you
us up
guys hit it off
together.
like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And everything is history from there. All right.
Yeah,
All
I mean,
right.
like, it's just her office is just one block away, after after lunch.
So
stuff
who
like
made the
that.
first move? Was it you
No,
or
no,
the
no.
missus?
I can imagine him. So he's like, since he's working at UPS, he was like trying to pretend he's bringing him some, bringing her some
Nick.
delivery. Like, hey, I got you got some
I heard
delivery.
you have a parcel for me to pick up.
Yes, that's right.
Oh, you meant you.
Yes, yes.
Nice.
And then
Oh,
you
man.
guys just hit it off there, and
Yeah.
so Ate Aria has always been like artistic when it comes to a bunch of things, because
Oh,
her
yeah.
art
I
is
mean,
amazing.
It's like she was born with a brush and a pen on her hand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
looking at all her
she's
work.
really good in She's
Wow.
been doing a lot ever since she was young. She would always be involved in mural work, art competitions, and she was also like the artist for the school newspaper. And growing up, she's been doing a lot of art. She has a bunch of paintings. Not sure if this one is hers.
Right.
She has a lot of paintings.
Yeah.
And then growing up, when she worked with the publishing house, she started off as the video editor and also a graphic artist for that publishing house. So a lot of the books that were sold by CSM, she designed them. She was the one who hand drew them.
Whoa,
Even the
man.
artworks inside books, she would do that.
That's interesting.
That is so cool.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm looking through her IG account and it's phenomenal work. Was this the only field of art that she did? Only manga and all that type?
No, she did. She also does painting.
Or so like painting in
She-
general. I know you mentioned painting. I thought this kind of painting, but
Well, right now she's more geared towards watercolor as her primary medium. But before that, she used to work with oil, gouache, and acrylic, and
Oh, yeah.
she used to do like really big painting.
Uh-huh.
And recently, she also did. She joined the quincentennial celebration of Mactan,
right.
Oh, okay.
and she has this like 4 foot by 3 feet painting of the Battle of Mactan, which
Oh,
is
wow.
I think it's also in I think it's also in her IG. It's in the central image is normal color, but the outward image is in negative.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you use your phone and use a negative inverter,
Yeah.
it would turn out to be colored as well.
Oh.
So she did those,
Wow.
and
Yeah, because I saw one of her painting, the bangus, the what do you call that?
Isn't it
Bangus
a
belly.
The bangus belly, yeah. And it looks so realistic. One of those
Yeah.
paintings where you put shadows and lightning in them.
Right.
And I'm talking about in the art, and it looks so real. Like
Yeah.
you've seen those videos where they
Right.
put the painting and the real thing, which one is fake?
Oh, that.
Like hers, it looks so real. It's surreal. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
That's
Yeah.
dope.
Yeah, and it made
Right
me.
now, she's very much engrossed in painting food.
Yeah,
Her goal is to when you look at the painting, you start to get hungry.
I was gonna say the same thing. I'm like, this thing looks so good. It made me so hungry. I'm like, because we can't have, for some reason, milkfish here in Michigan. It's too expensive. Like you can't find them
Wow.
anywhere. Yeah, you can't find milkfish. So even tilapia is expensive. So I was like, man, I want some of those. They're really good.
So why manga, or why in this kind of artwork, or manga? Why manga? How did you guys end up doing that?
Yeah.
Could have been children's book.
Yeah,
you guys could have
that's a
done.
very, very interesting question. We did not immediately jump into creating comics. Of course, when you used to do ice cream cake,
Right.
and, business was dropping, and the thought that came to our head is, when we jump into another business, when we do another business, we have to be very intentional about it. Like, what gap in the market are we trying to reach
Yeah.
or to close, and what kind of group of people are we serving? So we have always been fans of manga and anime for
Nice.
like the longest time. I mean, I could remember as young as 8 years old, I would already
wow.
be reading comics. And
What was your favorite comic or
we-
manga that you, since you're saying how early in your younger age?
Well, I used to Faye used to always read Tintin. Me, I
Mm.
would read Asterisk and Obelisk, Archie, and then I transitioned to Marvel and DC, and then
Oh, I see.
eventually transitioned to manga. I think I
Mm.
started
Oh.
being engrossed with manga during my college,
So
already college days.
you went from comic strips to comic books.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then from comic books to manga.
Makes sense. That makes
Hmm.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we did our research. We tried to look into if there first and foremost, is there even a market in the Philippines for comics?
Mm.
Because
Hmm.
comics is a bit unheard already in the
Right.
Philippines,
Mhm.
and a lot of folks would always say, comic industry is already dead in the Philippines.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we tried to look around. We tried to look around. We attended book fairs. There's a small there's a group here in the Philippines that's organizing comic cons.
Mm.
So we joined that. We went there. We took a look on what's happening, and that's where we got the idea. Hey, see these people. There is a market.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
absolutely.
Nice.
we can serve them, and we've been looking, and a lot of the content that is being sold or that's being available is usually Western content
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
or Western inspired or even Japanese inspired. And when there are like cosplay conventions here in the Philippines, it's
Wait,
like
there are?
crazy amount of
Mhm.
people are coming. Yeah, there are and people here are taking it seriously.
I did not know
They're
that.
very, very
That's
competitive,
that's
and there
awesome.
is like a bunch of people, and these are all anime manga fans.
I
And that's where we came into that
right.
idea that hey, these people are already these are Filipinos,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
and they have embraced the Japanese culture so much that some of them even feel like they're already Japanese. And we felt bad that we have a very, very colorful history, very, very colorful culture,
Mm-hmm.
and these guys have no idea about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Because there is no one providing that kind of material for them. So that's the reason why we came into the idea of creating content that's in a manga style, because we want to primarily cater to this audience who
Mm.
are already manga fans.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Right?
I'm just glad. When he told me that you guys own manga, or when he got connected and looking into it, I'm like, wait, what? They have their own manga characters? And I was looking to some of the artwork and all that. I mean, I didn't get a chance to read them all, and I'm assuming they're all in Tagalog, right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would be
but
able to
yeah,
understand.
the good news there is that right now we're already working on a translation to
Mm.
turn it into
Ooh,
English.
well,
So we
Yeah.
will have it also, available in English. And we're
That's
well,
good.
working with some
nice.
people who would make it available as ebook, so you guys can,
Nice.
check it out.
I'll
Yeah.
definitely check it
Hopefully, we
out.
can find someone who
Yeah.
can help us distribute in the US, to make it
Oh yeah.
available there as
Oh
well.
yeah. I know, right? Dude, that'll be awesome.
Amazing.
So okay. So I've heard this from somewhere. Someone said somewhere, I've heard it multiple times, don't ever work with your spouse. That's
Hmm.
like a common saying, you know what I mean? But since you're the storyteller and Faye is the artist, how's that dynamic between you two?
I would beg to disagree with that. Never work with your spouse unless you guys have like totally stark contrasting, skill sets
Yeah.
Mm.
that would never work. I would say I'm blessed that as a writer, as a story writer, I'm blessed to have a spouse who's an artist.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
she's able to, visualize what I am thinking in my story.
Mm,
So I think that works well. Like imagine if my spouse was an accountant,
yeah.
so,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and she
that's
has no drawing skills, so definitely that would not work. But we could still work as business partners, and she can do like uh, the accounting,
Yeah.
but
now.
Yeah.
definitely not the one who will be doing the artwork for me, right?
Sometimes I
So
wonder
I would
if.
have.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just wondering. So, who takes the final say in between the two? Because um, since you guys are both somewhat the bosses in this, I'm like, who gets the
Oh
final
yeah,
say?
that's where we have established ground rules. I always make the
Mm.
final call.
That makes sense.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
So
nice.
I think that helps with the decision making. There's no power struggle
Yeah.
because there's no like two heads in a business. So it's
Mm-hmm.
always me who makes the final
Okay.
decision, but she would what I appreciate with Faye is that when she feels like there is a better solution or better way to handle a scenario, she
Mm-hmm.
would offer a recommendation,
Okay.
and she would still leave me the decision making.
So you don't practice happy wife, happy life. This happy man, all happy, whatever.
Not in the business.
Right, yeah, because you still
But in the home in the home, we try to always decouple home from
yeah,
business.
yeah,
So
yeah, that's
when it comes to home,
yeah, that's remarkable because
happy wife, happy life.
because it's like I can't even imagine, I can imagine Miss Faye saying, or Mrs. Faye saying, then you draw it, like you're telling her, I don't like this artwork, and and she's like, then you draw it. And it's like, well, I can't, I can't. That's why this is why you're the artist. I can't draw it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big question. The reason why we ask is because out here in America, of course, it's not a big popular thing to work with your relative, unless I guess in your case when you're running your own business.
Yeah, it's a family business. Yeah.
If the family, otherwise working
I
together.
think it also the primary factor there is that you don't just jump into working with your relatives because they're your relatives. You still look into the factor of what value are they adding
Yeah.
to
Right.
the business.
It's good.
Not just because they're relatives, not just because you can trust them, but what value
That's good.
are they adding
I like
to
that,
that?
yeah.
Like our head of finance is my sister-in-law, which is our sister-in-law, and we've been her friend even before she became our sister-in-law. And she was also our accountant during the time when we were doing the ice cream cake. So there's already that relationship, and we believe in her skill set, and that's the reason why when we changed into a different business, we invited her to be part of the business. So in that way, I'm not the only person making the decision. There's actually four of us or five of us in the core of Kawangis, and we always discuss things together. So it's not just me and my wife.
Right.
So everyone has to throw in their ideas and come into a unanimous decision that okay, we're pushing through with this, and then I make the final call. Okay, let's do that.
That's
After
good.
taking into consideration everyone's input on that. So that way we have accountability and not just me and my wife. I totally understand, just working with your wife. That has been our struggle with the ice cream cake.
I
Yeah.
see.
So it's just the two of us, and then when one feels burned out, the other one struggles as well.
Yeah.
And
Right.
there's been that clash. Hey, why am I doing this? Why
Yeah.
don't you do this?
Yeah, and
Stuff like
and the big factor too is if you're working at home, like it's hard to separate the business and the marriage life,
yeah.
because it's like
Yeah.
if you go to a different place, it's like you're taking off that office attire as soon as you get home.
Are you guys working from home, or you guys also have
Yeah.
an office to go to? Oh, I see.
Yeah.
No, we work from home.
Even
Maybe,
before COVID?
I'll share with even before COVID.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. So I can share with you guys a secret how we do it.
All right.
that-
Ooh.
Yes.
A little secret coming up.
This is the
Okay.
secret sauce here.
I love it.
We have my wife and I, we've established a schedule. So like that way we can put a clear demarcation line of what hat to wear at what time. So like for example, Faye works from 6 a.m. to 3 p.m., 3 in the afternoon. So during that time, her hat is Kawangis. She's not the housewife. She's not the mom. So I play the role of the house husband at that time. And I take care of the kid, I take care of the house, I do the cleaning and everything, all the house chores. And then at 3 o'clock, we switch hats. And then I do the work. So that way we have clear boundaries on who's doing what.
I like that.
Because for a time we've been doing both at the same time, and we've struggled a lot because you're juggling between hats and you don't know what hat to wear at what time, and then of course there's also a growing child that you have to look after.
Yeah.
So
They got that.
we came to that, and that I think that has been very helpful for us for almost a year now.
Yeah.
And we haven't
awesome.
had much clash because of
Key
that.
couple communication. They keep it together.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
one of the struggles for me, not with my wife, but because I'm a pastor's kid, is the seeing my dad as the pastor at church, but sometimes he's also pastor at home. It's like, no, I want to know the distinctions between the pastor and my dad, because my dad, even though he is the pastor, he's not my pastor. You know, he is my dad first.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was the struggle between us too, because sometimes he act like my dad at church and then my pastor. So my child brain will get confused. Like, who am I talking to right now? Are you my pastor or are you my dad? You know? And that cost us a lot of problems. But yeah, that's awesome.
I think that has also been quite a struggle. For context, Faye is also a pastor's kid.
Oh.
Yeah. So
well, that makes sense, because you said some keywords that sound like you're from church. I'm like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like service and, you know, being a blessing. I was like, I like this guy.
Well, remember, because he said that before they did the cake business, they were producing music for churches.
Yeah. I missed that. Nice. I just heard church. I was like, ooh, this guy.
Sometimes he forget things. Yeah. Just so you know, sometimes he forget things.
Okay.
Like sometimes I have to reintroduce myself.
No,
like,
that's
Wakka.
It's not that bad. No, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. I don't know what he's talking about. I have no clue.
Anyway, okay. So Wakka kind of asked this a little bit, but so growing up in the Philippines, I read like comic books, Filipino comic books when I was a kid, starting from, you know, Funny Comics, Bata Batuta Comics, Pugad Baboy, Pupong, Mars Ravelo, you know, and then Elena Patron just died, she just died recently. And I have a whole red book of Liwayway comics. My grandma, I think, bought it's a compilation of Liwayway comic books, and then some of them are ripped because some of them are inappropriate, and you know how Liwayway comics work. Some of them are ripped, and I was like, why are these ripped? And then my grandma would lie to me, said, I don't know, I got it like that. And then when I grew up, I found out that she ripped it because they were inappropriate. But anyway, what or who inspired you guys to start comic books, or why Kawangis?
Interesting question. Well, those are two different questions.
Maybe
I'll start with the easy one. Why Kawangis? Kawangis, we tried to think for quite some time, over and over, what word should we use as our brand name, and we're kind of inspired by KKK. You know, because we were thinking we want to make a revolution.
Not the KKK
in the comic industry.
KKK here, right? No.
Not the KKK in the US, but the KKK in the
because I gotta make that clear.
No, not the clan, but you know, the Katipunan.
Yes.
So anyway, that was one of our idea. Like I tried to force words into KKK, but eventually I got ruled out with that. You know. Because
I don't think what. Yeah, if you name it KKK, it's not gonna work out in America.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
Not at all.
Not even here in the Philippines. It's like it's an overused combination of letters. Or acronym. So it's not gonna be very, very helpful. And then I was thinking, you know, trying to follow through, you know, like Shonen Jump. It's just like two words. Straightforward, catchy, and then we were thinking like, what about what's manga in the Philippines? What's the word for manga? And there's just comics, but the letter C is converted to K.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking like, okay, comics. What do we have? We're working with visual storytelling, so we try to identify what Filipino words can we identify with to represent visual storytelling. And then I came across this verse in Genesis where man was created in God's image. And then the Tagalog version of that is that
Kawangis,
ang tao ay ginawa sa wangis ng Panginoon. And then Kawangis, that's where we got the word Kawangis, which literally translated is reflection.
Ooh. I like it.
So basically, that's it. That's where we got the word Kawangis. It's a reflection. It's an image reflection. So that's where we also got our core value. Where when we create something, when we create a visual story, it should reflect something, not just a story, but something. So what we're doing is we create a story. It reflects both the Filipino culture and also the Christian values that we have.
Oh man, that's awesome.
That's good. I like that.
Yeah.
And then we were blessed with one graphic artist that was really good. He was the one who created the Kawangis Komiks logo that looks like the sun.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's two Ks backward,
Yeah. Oh,
opposite
that's
each
right.
other.
That's right.
So if you look at it, it
That's
looks like a
awesome.
reflection of the K,
Yeah.
but it also looks like a sun.
So it's K, Kawangis reflection, and it's.
Oh, that's dope.
I know that was.
Yeah.
That was
Whose idea
so
was that?
So I was telling him. So when I was looking at you guys' website, and it says you guys make logos, right? And then I saw one of the sample logo that you guys made is the papunta and pabalik. That was a phenomenal logo because the letter P, it goes away and then comes back. Right, that was
the
that was
arrow
awesome,
shape, shaping the P. That was nice.
That was crazy. That was so creative.
And this is all from the missus. Her idea.
Yeah.
Wait,
If
okay.
she left the design to me, that would be, chaotic.
That was awesome. No, that's great.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you were younger, you mentioned earlier that you've been reading all these comic strips, and comic books. How about in have you been did you read Mars Ravelo, any comic like Filipino comics and that? So what inspired you guys to start a comic book industry?
I think if anything, what really inspired us was Francisco Coching.
Oh, okay.
He's I think right now he's the only national artist for the comics genre. And he was just dubbed national artist 4 years ago, something like that. So it's very, very recent. And he has this very small museum inside University of the Philippines in Diliman.
Yeah.
And we got the chance to go there because during that time, when we got to visit that, we saw a lot of his paintings, a lot of his works. And then that's where we discovered he did comics. And then there is this huge mural inside his museum where all of his comic characters are in a clash, like a war against, and all of his characters versus all of Marvel's characters are clashing towards one another. So it was really inspiring. It was really awesome, and that's where we got most of our inspiration. And then as well as Mars Ravelo, his works are really way ahead of his time.
Yeah.
It's really awesome. And as we dug deeper into the comics and the history of comics, we're mind blown by a lot of things. Like for one, even before the Japanese made comics, we were already making comics.
Yeah.
We were the first actually in the entire Southeast Asia.
Oh wow.
And then it just died down, and then that's where the Japanese came in, and that's where they took over and became more popular than everyone else.
Ooh.
Yeah. So there's a lot of those, those trivias, those information that you find out that you realize that it's deep in our roots.
Yeah, I know.
And it's sad that it's dwindling, so we have to find a way on how to help the industry back.
It's funny because I was having an argument with one of my old coworker, and he was Japanese. I was arguing with him because I told him that Filipinos invented karaoke. He said, "No, it's Japanese. No, it's Filipino." He's like, "No, it's not. It's Japanese. No, you guys popularized it, but we invented it."
Oh yeah, we talked about it, and I'm thinking, no, it can't be. And so I looked into it, and I was like, "Oh, he's right."
Yeah, it's Filipino.
Well, actually, it is.
Yeah.
We have, it's one of our. Well, give you an idea. We created a card game as well. So we also create card games. So we created this card game called Anyare, and it's a bunch of cards with Philippine facts about Philippine history.
Yeah.
And karaoke is one of that. It's there.
Yes.
And we have the artwork of what it looks like the first time it came out.
Yep.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
We love to sing, and it's no joke.
Yeah.
But we love to sing.
Yeah, that's a very fact to a T with a period on that. Because when I was out there, I kid you not, when I was out there, even during the week, Holy Week. I mean, you guys love karaoke so much. Even the church will or the Catholic churches will be singing in the middle of the night. I don't know what verses they're singing, but I'm like,
that was not a karaoke.
I don't know, but they're singing in the middle of the night. I'm trying to sleep.
That was part of the whole week. They do a pabasa, so they're doing something. I don't even know what they're. Sometimes I don't even understand what they're saying. But it's
neither do I. I'm like, none of them don't rhyme. I'm like, well, what are they singing? And there's no note. There's no rhythm. There's no.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of moaning.
Well, actually, they're reading the passages from the gospel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
sure is reading to this.
But there's definitely no rhyming there because it was not meant to be sung.
Right. I mean, if you read the Book of Psalms, there's no. Most of those are not rhyming. You know what I mean? Like David is like, I just want to put this on.
But there's a few popular Christian singers nowadays, like Hillsong Israel. They know how to make a song out of the song, but I don't know where. Yeah. I don't know where they're reading and how they're singing it. But I mean, don't get me wrong. They do their thing. I'm not clowning on it. It's just that nights when I'm trying to fall asleep, I'm like, I'm trying to sleep, guys. Please.
Yeah. Oh, good luck to do that. They're going to do that 24 hours a day for the entire week.
All right, well, let's go back to comic books. Going back to the Kawangis. So I read you guys' vision and mission. It says, we build materials not limited to visual books that uphold and reflect Filipino culture and values. Our aim is to always impart these values to the next generation in a way that is entertaining, engaging, and life-changing. And then you guys continued on Facebook. It says that we also provide our expertise in publishing pre-production services to anyone who has a message that they want to share to the world through visuals, be it a graphic novel, a logo, or any visual cross-communication material. So tell us more. I know you kind of explained this earlier in a bigger scope, but explain to us the mission and vision of Kawangis.
Yeah, the mission and vision there shares that number one, when we publish our own content, we always make sure we don't just publish any comics. So we don't just get a story, publish it. So it has to always have, like, number one, the content should be able to reflect and put a highlight on something Filipino culture. And then also there's value in that, meaning there's something a reader can pick out of reading it, not just get entertained, but actually learn something from it, either learn how to be a better person or learn something about history or learn something about math, science, whatever. So that's primarily our focus, because right now we initially created Kawangis Komiks purely for entertainment. But as we grew, more and more of our audience are from the education sector. We were surprised that at one point in time, like 3 years ago, we got invited into a school to talk to a bunch of kids. Nice. And then, we were like, sure, no problem. We'll just go there. We'll put up a booth, so if they want to buy comics, that was our first mindset. Then when we got there, to our surprise, the school was already using our comics as a form of alternative teaching material to these kids. Yeah, and it was their form of surprise to the kids that, hey, we invited the authors of the book that you were studying here.
That's awesome.
And then we made a talk, and we were like surprised, and we found out that kids were already doing theater play based on our comics as part of their project. And we were like, we were not even thinking about that. We just wanted them to know about our folklores and stories, because kids don't even know who Malakas and Maganda is.
Oh my gosh, are you serious?
Neither I don't know that. What's that?
They don't even know the story of the legend of the Piña. Legend of monkey, where did it come from? We have local stories of that. And that's where we got that inspiration to we really need to do this, because kids know a lot about Greek mythology, Norse mythology, all of this Western mythology, Japanese mythology, but they have no idea what the Filipino literatures are about.
That makes sense, because I was just gonna ask. So, in the manga creation, I mean, what is it based off? But it's based on the legends and also history of PH. That's amazing. That's awesome. Even school using as a textbooks. Okay, that's a plus for you guys.
Right.
That is a big plus. That's awesome.
Yeah. And right now, actually, even homeschooling parents are already grabbing the book, because most of homeschooling materials are in English. So all of the homeschooling kids are always speaking in English. They can even understand or speak in Tagalog. And since all of our comics are in Tagalog, it's very helpful for them, because kids can associate the word with what they're seeing.
Right.
So
Right.
Yeah.
they're able to catch it up, and eventually they know how to speak Tagalog as well.
Yeah.
I wonder how the parents felt when they saw the kids bring it home. It's like, what is that book? That's not school books. No, this is our textbooks. And the kids' smiling face. This is our
Asking
textbooks.
their parents to,
Right,
can you give me money to buy our school book, and then come home, it's comics.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Oh my
Is this your textbook? That's amazing, though. I mean, are you guys known nationwide in PH? Or just in the Luzon region?
I think nationwide, because we have retail partners who are in the now, in the Visayas, and also northern Luzon, and most of our retail partners are actually schools and homeschooling hubs. So they bundle our books with their curriculum. So whenever kids would come in, new enrollees, okay, here are the list of the books, and lo and behold, there are comics in there. So
Yeah,
kids get hyped and surprised, and they like
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
studying becomes less boring and less
I
textbook.
agree. I
Yeah.
wish
Those
America
are
take
things
that.
I
like-
wished I had when I was studying.
I agree.
Yeah.
I wish America can learn from that.
Yeah. Well, so which brings me to you guys' comic books, right? So you guys have Mai. You guys have
Also,
Mai,
Incognito.
Incognito, by Bayan Chart, 1,000 words, and it might be my favorite. I don't know yet, but I'm predicting right now it might be my favorite. It's Zona Zero.
Zona Zero.
Yeah,
I think you would love it.
I think so too. I think I would love it as soon as I saw. So when people say don't judge the book by its cover, I did. I judged the book by its cover, and I was like, I'm gonna love this book. But anyway, so tell us more. Tell us more a little bit about these products.
Yeah. Mai is primarily it's an action comedy adventure story where we have two major characters, which is Lakan and Luta. So it's a boy and a girl. They are actually the malakas and maganda.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
But
So
the
remind me real quick. The Malakas and Maganda is in the bamboo myth, right?
yeah, that's
Okay.
the Filipino folklore of the first man and woman.
Yes. Yep.
That was created in
Okay.
the first creation of man and woman.
Yep.
That
Makes sense.
there were the man and the woman
We're made from
came
trees.
out of a bamboo.
Yeah.
But what
Bamboo.
I did here, the twist I did with the story, this is a bit of a spoiler. The twist I did with the story is that when the bamboo cracked, it's not a man and a woman, but rather two babies, a male and a female baby. That the people who wished for that, who prayed for that, were surprised that why the hell did we get babies? and they're not like, and in the story of Mai, there are 5 races and none of them are human.
Oh.
They were the first humans in that world, which is like being born in a place that you're the first of your kind in that.
Yeah.
And how the story
very
goes is that
interesting
these two kids growing up in that magical world where all the islands are floating in the sky.
I'm already
they are
liking
now
this book.
tasked with a heavy burden of lifting the curse that was created by Kalila on the entire land, and redeeming the people out of that bond in darkness.
You know,
Where in effect they basically created the folklores. So there was the alamat of in English, the alamat of monkey, or the legend of the monkey, where the first monkey came from, where the first firefly came from, the first pineapple came from.
Oh, okay.
Pineapple.
Okay.
So I placed all of that in the series where these kids are the ones causing all those legends to happen. But since the culture of the Filipino, like ancient culture, is that we only tell stories through verbal, so there's a tendency that the story would get
Oh, that makes sense.
changed through
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So that's how as we know it today, but I showed it like this is where
Yeah.
it originated,
Yeah.
basically. So
It kind of gives me a little feeling of Narnia. You know,
Yeah,
Narnia,
yeah.
the movie
Okay.
Narnia.
Yeah.
So you have all these characters in Narnia, and then you have human beings, and it's like, oh, what is this place? You know, that kind of thing. Yeah.
That's cool.
and there's no one else like them
Yeah. No one else like
in
them.
that place. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's Mai, and then Incognito is alternate history. It's based on the 1898 Philippines setting, wherein we were colonized by the Spanish,
Yeah.
Right.
and we're under Spanish rule. But Faye was the one who wrote and drew that entire series.
Oh.
Oh.
And this one is, since it's an alternate history, it's based from the national heroes. The characters are based from the national heroes, but on an alternate dimension where the world is steampunk.
Steampunk?
Yeah.
Steam.
Oh,
Ooh.
wow.
And then
Interesting idea.
I know.
That's a very.
I know. Because it's not. Because the first time I heard about steampunk is here in America. Like, steampunk is not common in the Philippines. So giving them that kind of point of view is like, oh, this is interesting. Because we've never seen this one before, you know?
Yeah.
Nice. Steampunk.
Yeah.
And there's that. And Zona Zero is actually connected to Incognito.
Okay.
So Zona Zero is like a prequel of the main character in Incognito. That's the guy you're seeing in the cover page.
Yeah, yeah.
How he
okay.
became, basically, on how he became a soldier, how he got there where he is right now.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
All right.
And then we also have another series which is it's not actually a series, it's more of an anthology. The 1,000 Words.
Yeah.
This is our comic collection that we're in. Each comic book has 0 dialogue on it. It's just purely image.
Oh, that's
Oh.
right. So it's like silent comics, right?
Yeah, it's silent comics actually.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's the reason why it's called 1,000 Words, because picture paints 1,000 words.
Yeah.
Nice.
If a picture
And
face a
It
thousand
transcends
words.
any language.
I'm sorry.
So there goes the karaoke.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm getting better,
You see
okay?
what you
I'm getting
started.
better. I'm getting better. I love to just when
the
I hear
reason why we
words.
came up with 1,000 Words is that two of the stories there was actually an entry of Faye when she submitted it with silent manga competition in Japan.
Uh-huh. Oh.
So those are actual entries for the
Oh.
silent manga competition, and we eventually made it into a comic book here in the Philippines. And what we noticed is that it's very popular as well to non-Tagalog speakers,
Okay.
because of course it transcends any language. It's
That
a
makes
picture,
sense.
so you would be able to understand the story flow. You can interpret it the way you want to interpret it.
Okay. That's definitely
Yeah.
a book for me.
Right? Yeah, those are really interesting. I love that. I really love the concept because I mean, as far as I know, so like I said, I looked you guys up and I saw the other publishing, like the Maharlika publishing that you guys are linked into.
Yeah.
Because you mentioned this in the Swak na Swak video that you guys had. All the comic book industries in the Philippines, they're not competition. They're like more like a collaboration, like a family.
Yeah, it's a
You know?
community.
It's a community because they're trying to build the comic book industry in the Philippines. You know what I mean? So it's not like, I don't know, like here in America where Marvel and DC is like, oh, we gotta be the best movie or the TV show. But in the Philippines, like, no, we're a community. We're trying to build this. We're trying to be big, you know? So
that's one thing I think that what makes the Philippine community very different. It's like, I, for one, I'm a fan of a lot of other comic creators here in the Philippines.
Yeah.
And I actually buy their book. I mean, I go to their booth when we have conventions, and I grab their
Nice.
book. I actually read them as well. And I'm a fan of them. We talk about it. It's like, imagine, I don't know.
Wait, when do these conventions happen? I didn't know these kind of conventions happen in PH.
Well, before the pandemic hit, it's like every quarter there's a convention in different places in the Philippines. There's one in Quezon City. There's another one in Mandaluyong, and just recently since the community is growing, there's more in the south, like in Las Piñas, Cavite, and now they're also doing conventions in Cebu.
Oh wow.
And
man.
they were supposed to do a convention in Davao last year, but since the pandemic hit, all of the conventions got closed.
Oh.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, so right now we're still waiting for things to go back to normal so we can,
Right.
be
That's
able
cool.
to get back to that, because it's really encouraging for artists and creators
Right.
to, see your fans and see the smiles on their faces when they get ecstatic when they say, "Oh, there's a new chapter!"
Right.
They go wild, and that one is really, really, what fuels us to do more.
That's amazing. I didn't know the conventions happen, and the number. The list of the series that you guys made. Are these, by the way, are these stories still continuing, or you guys already have a beginning and
Well,
end
yeah,
to them?
it's still continuing. The only one, the one shot we have is Zona Zero. That's the only
Oh,
one that we
okay.
have right now. But
Mm.
right now we're also working on other one shots because not all comic fan are the same. There are some comic fan that they just want a storybook that it ends with the book, and there are
Mm,
those that they want it in series because they're not satisfied with just one story.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
want to see the progression or the growth of the character. Uh,
mm,
Face Incognito is a straightforward series. You really have to start from one and go
Yeah.
onwards, and it's still
okay.
ongoing right now. Uh, the one I wrote, Mai, is also a series, but I designed it in a way that you can just grab one book and enjoy one book.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
So
good.
each book is an episode. Basically it's episodic. So each book is a story.
Episodic.
But if
Okay.
you read the entire series, you would see the progression or the growth of the character. But the book itself is a standalone. You can be able to enjoy it without knowing what happened to the previous chapter.
Mm.
I can only just imagine how you guys thought you guys materials through. I mean, I guarantee when you get, because I looked in you guys' website and I saw you guys' presentation of what you guys do, and what intrigued me is how you guys went through the planning, the brainstorming section, from the start all the way to the finish. How long does it normally take from each section till you get to the finish line? I mean, like,
Oh,
yeah,
that is a long process. It depends on the story. And, like we've shared that we also do services, right? We
right,
we can work with someone like, for example, Maharlikan Chronicles. This is it's a self-published material from the US,
Mm-hmm.
where David Soriano came to us and said, I like your style, I like the artwork, your style. I have a
mm,
story, I want it published. Can you guys help me walk through it?
Yeah.
So that's where we came into in the picture, and we walked with him step by step. Like, okay, let's talk about your character. What's your character about? Let's define that first, and then after we've created your character, what's the setting?
mm,
Where are we? And then each of that phases, I think for Maharlikan Chronicles itself, it took us a year to finish that because we went through everything from like conceptualization of character design, uh, editing of the story, and then creating the script, the
right,
sketches,
mm-hmm,
and then from the sketches doing a bunch of review and revisions,
Mm-hmm.
and then doing the inking and then the coloring because it's primarily colored,
mm,
Yeah.
and then do last minute proofreading, double checking, and then coordinating with the printer in the US, and
Dang.
until we came out with it, and it's like really really great. And right now we're actually working on uh, we're actually already printing the next batch here in the Philippines to make it available here in the Philippines.
nice.
Oh wow.
So you guys, in the whole planning process, do you guys do based on one episode or one whole story line from finish to whatever
Well,
continues?
it depends. If it's a series, then,
Mm,
well, to answer the question, we do it per episode. So if it's a one shot, then that's just one flow.
okay.
But if it's like a series, then one flow for
Uh,
each of the episode that will come out.
Oh.
you know what?
But for series, it's usually shorter because you already have a context. You don't go through the character design anymore because the character's already there. So we
Yeah.
jump straight to the editing, the story editing, the scripting, and then the inking and the production.
I think it was the inking part that I kind of intrigued me. I was like, I didn't know that you guys had to decide. No, I need a little bit more of this guy to do more cooking. I mean, like more images to tell a
Mm-hmm.
story.
That's
Uh,
why it's important to first do the sketch, and then look at
mm,
the sketch. Is this exactly how we want to visualize things? And then when you want to change, like, no, I want this character to face the other way, or I
Yeah.
want the angle to be different. So at least you can still erase it because it's still in pencil.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
mm,
it's a lot of hard work if it's already
I
inked.
bet.
So when we say we're good, we're good with this is how we want the image to look like, and then that's the time we start inking it because that's basically saying,
Mm.
okay, we're not changing anything in the image anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you guys typically do uh sorry, our camera is like cutting in and out. But do you guys normally do from paper to graphics, digital or straight digital?
Oh no, we do paper to graphics.
Oh.
Normally everything so far all of our work is done on paper.
Mm-hmm.
So everything is hand drawn, coloring, everything is done manually.
Oh wow.
And then the graphics is or the digital one is more on just enhancement or relayouting and putting the text.
Yeah.
But the actual artwork is done by hand.
Sheesh.
Do you guys plan
So
on?
it's really skill.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's crazy skill. Do you guys plan on moving into digital or just sticking to the what's working for you guys?
I think it depends on what the story or the content calls for.
That's true. Okay, that makes sense.
And it depends on which artist is working on the particular project. Because, like, for example, Faye, she is not really a fan of digital design, digital artwork. So everything she does it traditionally. Well, we have some artists in Kawangis as well that they do things digitally. So when we have projects that are more on digital, so we tap on this artist instead of Faye.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah, I'm the same way with doing messages. When I write my messages, I write a paper. I much rather put it in paper first and then on my iPad or my laptop, because there's a certain sensation when you feel the paper and the thickness of the amount of paper you wrote on. You know what I mean? Like if you have 10 pages of paper, it's like, oh man, I accomplished something.
That makes sense.
You know what I mean? That's just on me. I was like, that's what I feel.
That makes sense. How long do you guys normally, in terms of like length, do you guys take a month or two or a whole quarter to finish that from beginning to end? On average, don't
give you idea. Mai is a 60-page comic book. It took me a month to finish the story, story of one chapter, and then Faye took another month to finish all the graphics, the drawing.
I see.
And then after that, it's another month to finish the layouting and make it print ready.
Yeah.
And then actually have it printed.
So on average, a quarter.
So, a quarter to finish one chapter. So usually what our style is that there are projects coming one after the other.
Was it rough in you guys' humble beginnings when you guys started?
Oh yeah, definitely. Because we have to when we started Mai, our initial demand was to finish first 5 chapters. So we had to do 5 all at the same time.
Oh
yeah,
wow.
And then after that, that's the time we got to get the pace of we can do 1 chapter per quarter. And then Faye would also do 1 chapter per quarter for Incognito, so that everything is just moving forward. And then when we get projects, that's also we include that in the scheduling as well.
Yeah,
I like that. Okay, because I'm glad
that's where my IE expertise comes in.
Nice.
All right. So when I was researching about Mai, all right, because that caught my attention. I think I first saw the book, and then your explanation about Mai, and then the rest of the whole series. So when I was researching for it, I found out that like normal human beings do. I googled it. I googled what's the meaning of Mai, and then I found myself in a rabbit hole. Like I was in a rabbit hole looking all
that's
these
the
up.
intention. That's the intention.
Oh, right. So I was in the rabbit hole. It's like I'm looking at conspiracy theories on YouTube, like that kind of rabbit hole. And I learned about the deafness of Saba, the Saba dispute, Mai, and the correlation to, because I'm from Bulacan, Pampanga kind of area, and we have the term gatmaitan, and that like clicked in my head, like, oh, that's where they got the word gatmaitan from, the word Mai. And I knew we were traders and sailors like Moana and all, but I didn't know that we used to put our hairs in a knot and wear long dresses.
Oh yeah,
with
he was
sarongs.
telling me that.
So this Wakka is a Samoan.
Yes,
he's Samoan.
Oh.
And that's their culturally they wear sarongs. And with knot. And we heard this one comedian. He's Filipino, and he said that
this Jokoy?
No, not Jokoy.
It's a Filipino from New Zealand. I remember because that's where he hit the jokes.
Filipino from New Zealand, and he said that Filipinos are Samoans of Asia, and we laughed. It was like, oh man, that was funny. And then this, by telling us that we used to wear sarongs, makes so much sense now. Like, we are the Samoans of Asia.
That's awesome.
But actually, if you get a chance to grab a copy of Maharlikan Chronicles, it's touched there that Samoans, Filipinos, even all the way up to Hawaiians, we're probably all related. We're all from one bloodline.
Oh yeah,
so we're family. We're cousins.
I know. So
Yeah.
here, so whenever we're together, because we're best friends, so like we call each other brothers, and we walk in public, we always encounter people like looking at us. What are you guys? Or if someone asks, "Are you guys Samoans?" I will say yes. And if someone asks, "Are you guys Filipino?"
I will say yes.
He will say yes, because we're tired of explaining to people that he's Samoan.
That's futile.
I know Filipino. So it's like, you know what? We're just gonna say yes. And there are instances that people thought he's Filipino, that they're asking him more about the Philippines than they will ask me.
Yeah, ask the guy who's from the Philippines.
It happens all the time. So anyway, with that said, I've never learned any of these. Like Mai, like Philippines used to be called Mai. Right?
I personally like Mai than saying Filipino.
Me too. I know.
Actually, give you a trivia. Mai, the comic series, that was not the original title. The original title was supposed to be Alamat.
Oh.
And
what does Alamat
we
mean?
had to change the name at the last minute. Yeah, Alamat means legend. Or origin, sorry, origin.
Yeah.
Origin.
Yeah.
We had to change the name last minute because when we were supposed to launch it on Metro Manila International Book Fair, a few months before that, GMA, one of the big TV network here in the Philippines, put out an animated series entitled Alamat.
Oh.
Okay.
So we did not want to be associated with that because
makes sense.
people would think, oh, is this the TV show?
I see.
In book form. So we were like, no. This is not good for the branding. So
right.
Which is also very great because we felt that it's kind of the Lord's leading.
Yeah.
That we ended up with Mai because now it's more interesting.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Like people would always ask,
love
what's Mai? Where this come from?
Yeah.
What does it mean? You know?
Yeah.
So it becomes a conversation starter.
Yeah.
How far in the last minute did you guys come up with Mai? Like a week or two, or
Like-
the next day?
No. Like a month.
Who coined the name?
The Mai?
Yeah.
I got it. I was the one. That's the name of the entire world where the characters are moving around.
Oh. But you
So
like
they,
you
they
came
live
up,
in the world of Mai. So
so
now
you came up
that's-
with that word, the Mai? Like you came up, but you found that word and
I researched it because I was every name that you see in the book, in the comic book, I did a bunch of research. Like I wanted to know what's the name of Philippines before it became Philippines,
Dude,
because
that's
Philippines was from the Spaniards.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was like,
King
what were we called? Because definitely we had trade before the Spaniards came. So Southeast Asian countries already know us.
Yep.
So how do they tell each other, hey, you go to this place, what's the name of that place?
Yeah.
And the oldest record we have is from the Chinese documentation that they call this place Mai.
Yep.
So whenever they would do trade, they would say, go to Mai, bring a bunch of gold. So they would give you a bunch of resources.
So the Filipinos are called Mais instead of or like Filipinos, So
No, just the countries, the place is called Mai.
Oh, Mai.
Yeah.
So what do you call the
in,
people?
in Chinese term, Mai means land of gold.
Land of gold.
So
Is it because y'all
bring gold
brown?
to the land of
Is that
gold,
what
so
it
they
is?
give you,
You
goods.
know, gold is yellow, right?
Same thing.
Yeah.
Tomato, man.
Anyway, so what brought me to that my blabber, with my blabber was I never learned any of this in high school. Like in high school, in elementary, we were taught about colonialism, Spaniards, Americans, and all that, but we never taught about pre-colonial. Why is that? Why do you think is that? As a person who writes comic books about these kind of stuff.
I think primarily because education system is designed to answer test questions, and most of the test paper are talking about
Makes sense.
colonial period, not about pre-colonial. But if that's where we come in. Those are also things we discovered personally. I discovered when I was already writing Mai, and a bunch of folklores I just discovered during my free hour or vacant hour waiting for my next subject in college. I would go to the library, browse through books, and these are things that I enjoyed and was not forced on me.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's one thing that why it's not taught on school is because these are not gonna appear in your test paper, so
There's no point.
reason for us
Yeah.
to talk about it. But
Mm,
I think it's really still very important for us to know about those things.
yeah.
Because, like, for example, like when we know that we are from the same lineage with
Right.
the Indonesians, the Malaysians, the
Yeah.
Samoans, the
Yeah.
Hawaiians, then we see the world differently. Like, I
No,
see
I
Wonka
agree.
and I say, "Hey, brother, we are brothers,"
Right.
What's up, bro?
Yeah.
I don't see him as a Samoan. I see him as a brother.
Right.
because,
Right. Yeah.
We're from the same roots, basically.
Yeah,
Something like that.
Which is funny because recently here in America, there's so I might get hate for this, but I don't really care. A lot of Americans are really too sensitive. Like when they get offended easily, like it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, one group of Filipinos identified themselves instead of Asians as Pacific Islanders. And a lot of Americans erupted. It's like, no, you can't say that. You're not Pacific Islanders.
Yeah,
Pacific
I remember
Islanders
that.
will get offended, like Samoans, Hawaiians, and all that. I'm like, you do realize we're in the middle of Pacific. So, and we have 7,000 islands. So, with that said, we are Pacific Islanders. And they're like, no, you're Asians. Like, whatever. Like, you don't even call Indians Asians, but they're in Asia. Like, get out of here. Like, you know nothing about us. I bet you if I show them a map of the world and I tell them where's Philippines, they wouldn't know. They would have no idea. Like, I don't know.
They would randomly point on something.
Right.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
that's
somewhere in
Philippines.
Asia. Somewhere in Asia.
Yeah. You're not in the map.
You're not in the
Man, if the Philippines is not on the map, what makes Samoa? Because man's a dot on the map.
Right. I got the outdated map. It's not updated yet. I forgot to update my map. No, but
Version 2.5.
right. No, but I agree because it's like if this was taught. And when I was in high school, I probably would find Filipino really interesting because it's like, okay, I get it. We're Spaniards, Americans, all right, fine. But I want to know where did Negrito come in, and like
your roots.
And, yeah.
Why did they even come here?
Yeah,
right?
why did they even come here? And when I was in high school and elementary, I thought the only Filipinos here before Spaniards are just Negrito. You know what I mean? But I found out when I was doing that research in that whole rabbit hole, they're not the only first person people here in the Philippines. There's a bunch more. It was crazy, and I was like, I couldn't stop reading them. I'm like, no, I gotta stop because it's like 2:00 in the morning.
5 in the morning.
I know, I gotta stop. But it was awesome. So Wakka and I did a podcast like 5 or 6 podcasts ago about Philippine mythology.
Oh yes, that's right.
One of the mythology, there's only 3 or 4 popular mythology, like Greek, Roman,
Egypt,
Norse,
and Norse. Yeah.
Egyptian mythology. So we let's do a podcast about Philippine mythology, and I had him look him up. Like I had him do the research, and we found out that there's a ton of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, not just in the Philippines. I didn't know there was more. I was like,
Yeah.
wow.
I know.
I read through the Philippine mythology. I was like, wow, this is interesting. Some of it was a kind of a base some of the ideas from Greek or Norse, where there's I forgot his name,
Valhalla.
Like the Zeus of
the god.
yeah, but apparently there are different in each region. They have their own
Versions.
mythology. Yeah, but I was intrigued, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. You guys have your guys' own thing.
Yeah. So and then at the same time we were playing God of War on PS4. So I was like, you know what? Would it be interesting if we have a God of War Filipino mythology edition? You know what I mean? Like the main villain is Valhalla, and then you have the power up. You have to find the pineapple, which is the legend of the pineapple. Like that whole thing will be awesome.
Yeah, he came up with all these ideas about that. Even he came up with Christian mythology if it was on God of War. It's like I don't know where he get it from. I think you and AJ
I can blame
relate.
you. I love God of War as well.
Oh my gosh, God of War is great. Just make sure you put the censor part on the God of War 3, because it's like, yeah, I'm gonna skip that. I'm gonna play that.
But yeah,
I know. Oh, all right. So let's go to let's go to Netflix did a series called Trece. Have you seen it, Kuya?
Yeah.
What do you think about that show?
Amazing. Well, actually, Trece, for us, Trece is really, really inspiring, and it's actually very exciting for the entire comic industry here in the
Mm-hmm.
Philippines. Like
Mm.
when news of it, when the news that it was going to be uh uh done in when Tressa was going to become an animation, even just the mere news of it, like the comic industry here in the Philippines went crazy about it. Like everyone was
Nice.
talking
Mm,
about it, and that's where I get the idea that the industry is not competing against each other, but really uh supporting each other, and the success of one creator is the success of everyone,
yeah.
because
That's nice.
it basically it puts a spotlight on an area where no one's looking at.
Mm.
So now that there is stress, and the next thing you know, we got featured in an article in Philippine
Oh
Star,
yeah, I did see that.
where
Yeah.
yeah, where the journalist said, you like Trece and that it became an animation. Here's a list of other comics
Oh
in the
my gosh.
Philippines that
Yes.
is
Nice.
worth to be a movie or an animation
Yeah.
at the very
Yeah.
least.
That's awesome.
And
Yeah.
we were blessed to be part of that list. And it gets everybody stoked up because of that.
Yeah.
Because if one can do it, it opens a lot of doors of
Oh,
opportunity for everyone. Because
100%.
that means producers will start looking for other titles as
Right?
well in the
Mm-hmm.
Philippines.
That's
The
good.
people are like, what are they talking about? What can we, adapt and bring it to the
Yeah.
international
And it's
eye?
not just that, because if Trece, which Trece became a big thing, other apps, original apps will realize, oh, there's a market for this. Then let's find other alternative to compete against Netflix Trece. So we're gonna find this other
Smart.
Filipino comic books, like
Yeah, yeah,
Hulu will
yeah.
do it, or Amazon Prime will do it.
Yeah.
Like I can see it happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So,
good.
now we talked about Trece and Netflix. Let me ask you, Kuya, what's next for Kawangis? What is the
Well,
what's next?
right now we're sticking with our guns in just producing more awesome content,
Mm-hmm.
and our doors are always open. If there's a producer out there listening to this podcast right now, you
Mm-hmm.
can just email us.
Yes, absolutely. Are you kidding me?
Absolutely.
Nice.
You want a copy of our comics, we'll just send it to you.
Yeah, yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah, so we're our doors are always open. If someone wants to come and tell us like, hey, would you be interested to use your IP for a series or a one shot, we're more than happy to partner with that. And we've always had a bunch of messages from fans of some of the titles that we've already created, and they're always also asking the same question, hey, when are you guys gonna be next? And we're like, it's not in our control because
Right,
we're
right.
not the one producing it.
Yeah, right.
So an animation producer or a live version producer would be the one to give us that heads up, like, do you guys want to have this, or would you
Mm-hmm.
be willing to share with us the IP for this one so we can make
Right.
a story out of it?
Yeah,
Mm,
And
yeah.
we'd be more than happy to partner with that.
that's
Awesome.
awesome.
Yeah, that was great. All right, let's go to our little bit of segment here.
All right.
Since you are in the comic book industry, and you said you read and watched some American comic book characters, and you've seen animes. Give us your top 5 American comic book, your favorite comic book characters.
Whether
top 5.
Marvel or DC.
Yeah, or
Okay.
it doesn't matter. It's just all American. Let's go
Okay.
for American first. Your top 5.
Top five. I would put on my top one would always be Spider-Man.
Nice.
All of the Spider-Man series.
Yeah.
I love him. I love what I really love about Spider-Man is that I like his predicament that he's a superhero and yet he's broke.
Oh yes.
He always has to make a living out of
Oh my gosh.
to sustain his life,
Yeah.
and people are not actually paying him
Yeah.
for the job. So I like that he's doing his job. He has a day job and also a superhero job,
Yeah.
and yet be able to still maintain a relationship with
Yeah.
Mary Jane. I mean, that's awesome. For me, that's really a superhero. And second in the list is the X-Men. I love the X-Men. I love the fact that being different doesn't mean you're evil or you're bad, but just being in the right group allows you to be able to hone that ability, that uniqueness that you have. So I like that there's also collaboration, that one in every mission that they have, it's not like it's just one doing everything, but everyone is helping out each other, covering up
nice.
holes or gaps. I really like that. That's why I fell in love with X-Men. Even when they came out with the Uncanny X-Men series, TV series, I mean, I binged on it when I was younger. So there's that. On the other side of things, I love Spawn.
Spawn.
I love Spawn more than I love Deadpool.
What?
I think
Really?
Spawn is. I think Spawn is much more badass than Deadpool.
Ooh.
I mean,
You're gonna have an argument with this guy.
Crazy. Okay. All right.
He thinks differently.
I love Deadpool.
well, I mean, I have nothing against. I love Deadpool. I mean, for me, in all the Marvel cinematics, even the comics, I mean, you want to get a crack out of the comics, Deadpool is the best place to go to. You know? I mean, I love him for his,
his humor,
for his comedy, his goofiness, you know, and his unbridled, comments and everything, and he even, hits on actual Marvel
right, yeah.
world universe.
Yeah, because I loved him even before the Deadpool movie, because I played Marvel vs. Capcom, and in one of his super abilities, he will grab his health bar and smash his enemy with it. It's like the breaking the fourth wall is the best thing ever. Amazing.
In the comics itself, I like that Deadpool, I think, is the only character who's able to, go around in all.
I really think he's just OP. I just think he's just OP.
Yeah, he's super OP. But to give balance between, maybe I would say I'm more inclined towards Marvel than DC. But to give balance on that, on the DC side, I like Spawn.
No, Spawn is cool. I like him.
Yeah.
That was your fourth one, or third one?
I'm just comparing Deadpool with him in terms of like practical immortality.
Oh, so you compare Deadpool to Spawn, not Deadpool to Deathstroke?
No.
Really? Interesting.
No, I don't like Deathstroke.
Yeah,
that's apparent.
I don't like him. I mean, comparing Deadpool to him is like comparing an elephant to an ant.
Wow.
I don't like him.
Wow.
So,
he really he hates Deathstroke.
That was crazy. That was good.
There's that, and what else in the Western comics?
You're not a big Superman guy?
No.
Is it because his underwear's outside? I mean, I'm a Superman fan. Don't get me wrong.
Most of superheroes in DC, their underwear is outside. Like Batman.
I feel like Superman is too predictable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like he comes in, he's gonna win because he's super. I mean,
true.
And it felt like the writers were just forcing like, out of this world villains so that Superman would appear a bit weak, but definitely he would still prevail.
Still win at the end.
Yeah.
Okay,
I would like Batman more than Superman.
100%.
He's the only human
100%.
in the entire Justice League.
Yes.
Very. 100%. No, I have to give credit
He's
to
the
Batman.
only one without a superpower. Although being a billionaire is also a superpower.
That's a power that we can't beat.
But not Aquaman.
But at least that's a power that's attainable.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Very true.
It might just take a while, but it's attainable.
Yeah.
So what are you gonna say about Aquaman?
Maybe I'll throw in Batman as fourth, and then fifth I would put in Asterisk and Obelisk.
As to who?
Obelisk?
Asterisk and Obelisk.
Who's that?
It's a very old comic book. It's not Marvel. It's not DC.
No, yeah.
It's a comic story based on Norse. I think Norse literature. It's not really Norse mythology, but more on a Viking setting.
Yeah.
Where one Obelisk, if I'm not mistaken, Obelisk is the big guy who's really like super strong. He can lift boulders like as if he's just lifting a basket.
That makes sense.
And Asterix is very, very small. and they're like best friends, and
Yeah.
it's funny. They have comedy.
Oh.
They have a lot of satire and stuff like that. So
Yeah. I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen some of them.
yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, I didn't know that.
that's my Western top five.
How about your Japanese mangas and animes?
Japanese top five. Beyond the shadow of doubt, top one is Full Metal Alchemist.
Ooh, nice choice.
That's a good one. That's
That's
a
a,
really
you're already
good
starting
one.
off
like-
good. All right.
Yeah.
Regard with all the new mangas and animes that come out, it still sits on the throne of top one for me.
Both of them
Uh,
in the
Or-
Brotherhood.
the Brotherhood,
Yes, the
Oh,
Brotherhood.
Brotherhood,
The
I love the Brotherhood.
Ooh, okay.
It's darker.
All right.
Brotherhood. I did not like the first one.
Yeah, I didn't know there was two different stories.
I felt like it was too trippy. Brotherhood was the one closest to the manga.
That was true. I agree. It was a lot darker.
I
loved
appreciate
it.
that, and I like the story flow, everything. The plot twist, the uncertainty of what's happening, who's who,
Yeah. Yeah.
how things will flow.
Yeah. Yeah.
It has a lot of surprises at every around the corner.
Yeah.
Wait, we're talking about anime or manga?
Both. You can go
Both,
both.
okay.
Yeah.
On my number two, I would put there All You Need Is Kill.
All you need is kill.
You haven't heard of that?
Kill. That's like.
So All You
It's
Need
like-
Is Kill is the manga that where The Edge of Tomorrow was taken from.
Oh.
Where the main protagonist, every time he dies in war,
Yeah.
he wakes up in the same day where he started.
Yeah. You know that
Oh.
movie Edge of
His
Tomorrow
journey.
with
I know Edge of Tomorrow. I'm
Tom
trying to
Cruise
think.
and Emily Blunt.
Tom Cruise.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look it up.
Good. Read the manga version. It's
It's really
10 times better.
That's
10
a.
What's
times
the title
better
of it
than
again?
The movie. Even the plot twist is 10 times better than the movie.
Ooh.
So, yeah. Try to. All you need is skill.
All you need is skill.
Yeah, so that's my number two. Number three, I would put there One Piece.
That's
I'm
my.
super One Piece fan.
That's my anime.
Yeah, I'm super One Piece. I don't care what people say that like, it's too long. It's already it's already almost 1,000. I don't care.
It's
You're
that
like-
great. Come on.
Are you kidding me? Like, did you know that Crayon Shinchan it's the longest anime? It's not even One Piece. It's Crayon Shinchan. That stupid show. That show is so stupid.
The title.
Yeah,
sounds-
yeah. It's so stupid.
It's so
But anyway,
stupid.
I had a friend who was very fearful of starting One Piece because she was like, it's already on episode 900 and I don't know if I can catch up. And dude, after a month of starting with episode 1, she's already caught up.
Oh wow.
And I was like, and you didn't want to start.
Yeah, I know, right? Did you sleep? You haven't slept, huh?
'Cause that's pretty long.
I can see your eye bags.
right?
Oh man.
I love One Piece primarily for the fact that just like X-Men, where he works with the team and he acknowledges that even as a captain of the ship,
Mm-hmm.
that he has his limitations and that his crew is there to cover up for those limitations.
Yeah, yeah.
And he has a role in that ship. Everyone has their role, and as long as everyone sticks to their role,
Uh-huh.
the relationship will be good, and they
Nice.
would have a very, very strong team. And I like that. It's not like just one person overpowering everyone.
Yeah.
I really don't like that idea. One person overpowering everyone.
Yeah.
That's primarily the reason why I like One Piece, and I like that everyone is given highlight in the
Yeah.
story.
Oh,
everyone is
100%.
growing.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's not just the captain, but everyone's given like their own spotlight
Mm-hmm.
in the story. Yeah.
That's good.
So
that's
that's
good.
top three.
You're a big team player. That's for sure.
Yeah. Because I think it fully resonates with me because I fully acknowledge that I cannot do everything.
Oh.
I'm good with some things, but I'm not good with everything. And I am an advocate of, you don't try to strengthen your weakness, but you strengthen your strengths and
Mhm.
find someone who's good
In that
to
area.
cover your weakness.
That's good.
I like that. That's good.
Because
That's
that
really
that
good.
makes good and awesome team.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, and my fourth, interesting. Fourth. fourth and fifth. Fourth and maybe I would put on fourth. Black Clover. It's a pretty recent anime.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is recent.
Yeah.
Yeah, Black Clover. I like the dilemma of that story where the main character has no magic,
Right.
and he lives in a world where everyone has
magic.
Right.
Yes.
You know, I think I would put him tie with Boku no Hero.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Which they kind
Something
of have
like
the
that.
same
It's
dilemma.
pretty
Similar.
much in the same predicament. Like
Yes.
the main character is like an oddball in that
Right,
in that
right.
world.
Right.
Yeah, so
Oddball is the
I
right
could
word.
put them side by
Yeah.
side. On fifth, what would I put on fifth? On fifth,
Doraemon.
Doraemon.
on fifth. Uh, Barakamon.
Barakamon.
Yeah, I don't know if you've already heard of that.
Oh.
Barakamon is a slice of life anime.
Oh, that makes sense. That's why I haven't heard of it.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right.
Dude, you should try it. It's funny. It's a funny slice of life. It's a story of an artist who felt like he lost his art.
Oh, okay.
So it's like he's a very famous artist with galleries and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
And he felt like he lost his thing and that he's already being controlled by whoever is sponsoring that the gallery.
Oh.
The episode 1 starts with him punching the curator because he got fed up, and he was. You should find it.
And it's a slice of life.
He got banished. He was like banished to a province.
Oh, wow.
Growing, getting used to like living in a city life, and now you're in a province.
Yeah.
Where you're staying in a house with a leaky roof.
Yeah.
There's no cellular connection, stuff like that.
Right.
You have to forage your own food and stuff. So it really brought him down to the roots, and in the course of the story, he got to see life from a different angle, and it's a discovery of what really matters most. So it's nice. It's wholesome. It's fun. For the most part, it's fun. It's really fun. It's a lot of comedy there.
That's
I
awesome.
may have to add that to my
I
list
think
to watch.
a lot of people would be able to relate, especially those who have been living in the city for quite some time.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, let's do our last segment. I love this. I've been preparing to do this because I know you're gonna be in the podcast and you do this this kind of comics. So let's do an Avengers. So Avengers became a big thing all over the world.
Yes, it has.
How about let's do our own Avengers
roster?
team roster for Filipino heroes. I'm gonna start. Okay, I'm gonna start because I'm excited
Okay.
to do this. My first one is Thor. My Thor is Andres Bonifacio, and the reason why he's my Thor, because of the itak or the machete, whatever he's using. That will be the
It's a
Mjolnir.
lightning it up.
Yeah, that will be his Mjolnir. You know what I mean? Like Thor has a Mjolnir, and once you see the Mjolnir, you know that it's Thor.
Yeah.
So for Andres Bonifacio, as soon as you see the itak, you're like, oh, that's the guy. Now my Doctor Strange. This is gonna be a little weird roster. Okay, it's not the typical Avengers. My Doctor Strange is, and this is weird, is Tandang Sora. The reason why she is my Doctor Strange, because her being. So we've known Tandang Sora as the person who like took care of the the Katipunan and all that. Like she's kind of mysterious kind of way. So there's a mystery behind her, how she became like one of the most influential heroes in the Philippines. So I have her. My Iron Man is Emilio Aguinaldo, and here's why. Okay, I'm gonna give a two-part. My Hulk is Apolinario Mabini, and he's he appears to be weak, but as soon as he turned to Hulk, he's crazy. You know what I mean? Like that's him. And now the reason why I have Apolinario Mabini is Hulk and Andres Bonifacio, Emilio Aguinaldo as Iron Man, because in Age of Ultron they fought, and in history, Apolinario Mabini and Emilio Ginaldo do not get along. They did not get along. So I want them to be in Avengers. You know what I mean? I thought about this sitting down. It's like, what will be my Avengers? Like, this will be my Avengers. And of course, Captain America, it's got to be Jose Rizal. Like, there's no one else deserves to be the Captain America or Captain Philippines for Avengers roster if not Jose Rizal. You know what I mean? Like, he's got to be. Like, there's no one else. You know what I mean? Like, you can't put him in there. And now, there was... Spider-Man will be my Lapu-Lapu because he's like what you said, he's like the
so it's a spider fish.
right. No, because he's like the when you talk about heroes, when you talk about Marvel, you think about Spider-Man. Now when you think about heroes in the Philippines, besides Jose Rizal, of course, you think about Lapu-Lapu as the first heroes of the Philippines that we in paper or in books. So I want him there as in the roster. That's my roster. I'm like, I feel confident because that's like the popular heroes in the Philippines. I didn't have any underground heroes in there, but I wanted to put what's his name? Luna from Bulacan, the youngest one, the youngest hero. Juan Luna. Yeah, I was thinking about putting him there, but I was like, who is he gonna be? Like, I don't know. Like Groot, he's gonna be Groot. You're gonna be Groot.
Interesting. Yeah. You do have an interesting roster.
I know. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Or he could be Rocket.
Oh, Rocket. Yeah. Rocket Raccoon. Yeah. You be Rocket.
Oh man.
What's your roster?
Okay, so I had to look it up and I had to just read a little bit. So my roster is kind of interesting. I did it based on more of characteristic or personality in a sense. So my Captain America, of course, I was gonna say is Jose Rizal. So of course, because he's your guy's biggest icon in PH. Because when I was out there, I know Rizal here, Rizal there. That's all I knew as an icon there. But then when I read about him, he reminded me of someone else, of Agent Coulson, because he's passive aggressive. I mean, Agent Coulson did use guns, but based on Jose Rizal, he was a he was an activist, but he was not aggressive, or
Yeah.
he didn't cause a revolution, kind of thing. Now,
which is great because he caused a revolution, and in Avengers, Coulson started the whole Avengers thing.
That's true. That's very true. So, and I was when you said Andres Bonifacio, how do you pronounce it?
Bonifacio, yeah.
Bonifacio. I compared to him, but I forgot that he's the guy that held the sword.
Yeah.
That was him?
Yeah, that was him.
Well, I didn't know that was him, but I compared him to Director Fury because he's the one who started the...
I see what you're saying.
Started the revolution.
Yeah.
And he was the one who started it all.
Yeah.
And the one who I said could have been Thor, Hulk, or Iron Man was Emilio. Because again, So because the way they described him, like he's military, he sounded the way they Google. Okay, this is all Google. Okay, I didn't really do homework. This is all Google and Wikipedia plus Wikipedia. So they made him sound that Emilio
Aguinaldo.
That he made him sound so gung ho. Because when I think about Thor, before he changed to be a better man in the first Thor, he was always up for adventures and going this and that before all that, and then
before thinking.
Yes, exactly. And or Hulk, where he just rawr, just go, just But yeah, that's how I felt. Now there was this other person I saw in the list of national heroes in the Philippines, is Melchora Aquino?
Yeah, that's Tandang Sora. Yeah.
Oh,
Melchora Aquino. Yeah.
I compared her to being a side character of either Agent Maria Hill or Pepper Potts.
Okay.
Because the way again Google. This is all Google. Google says that she was a very big supporter on the sidelines. You know, giving all this and that. Like she was basically someone's foundation, or she was like Black Widow or somebody.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all I thought. I was like, wow, Pepper Potts, she fits that part. And then these other two that I read, Marcelo
Del Pilar.
Yeah. and Juan Luna.
Yeah.
These two reminds me of Bruce Banner, not the Hulk, but Bruce Banner, because again, how they described him, that they were more artistic. So one of them is an artist, and the other one is a writer or a lawyer, and so forth. It was like, yeah, they remind me of Bruce Banner because he's a scientist and dorky-ish, but very, very, very smart. But yeah, I mean, and then the last one was Polinaro Mabini. He reminds me of Falcon, but the counselor one. The counselor. You know how Falcon is inside the room of dealing with AA people? I don't know if it's AA.
Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah. You know he's lame, right? Not, I mean, I'm talking about like the noun lame, not the verb. Like he's lame, not that. Like he can't walk.
Again, this is all Google, and this is who they described him to remind me of. And I thought about Falcon, and not Falcon as the Falcon, but Falcon as the counselor, helping people
Falcon
to be
as the
better.
friend.
Yes, as the friend. I mean, this is my interesting roster, ish.
Yeah.
But if they were an Avengers team, they would have been very lucky to win. But that's mine. There's my list.
How about you, Kuya? What's your roster?
All right. I'll kick off with first. I'll break Captain America. I think for me, my Captain America would be Lapu-Lapu. Because Captain America was the first Avenger.
Oh, that makes sense.
That's true.
And it was like centuries even before the Avengers were born.
Yeah.
So, and Lapu-Lapu was like the trigger point for everything that happened in the Philippines history-wise.
Yeah.
So,
That's true.
Yeah, it all started there. Plus the fact that he also owns a shield and a sword. But at least he can throw the shield.
Yeah.
So that for me. And then I would put Doctor Strange to be Jose Rizal. Because I think just like Doctor Strange, who has dominion over, time and dimension, I felt like Rizal was way, way ahead of his time during that era. Like
I like it.
The way he thinks, the way he sees things, the way he expect things to. I think that's one of the reasons why Rizal was, more of a peaceful revolutionary, because that he knows if he makes one action, it would make a ripple effect.
Yeah.
That he did not want, which is people killing people. So that's why he kept himself to just writing, and inspiring people to open their eyes. So there's that. And I think I agree with the interesting part where Andres Bonifacio is like Thor.
Yes.
I like that idea actually. Like
Yes.
seeing Andres Bonifacio put his hand like that. And
Yes.
then his
Oh my God.
attack will come to him.
Yes. I love that. Oh my gosh. Yes.
And
please.
it's not a bludgeoning weapon; it's a slashing weapon.
Yeah.
With lightning damage.
Wait, lightning damage.
You're already giving him ideas on this next one.
Yeah. I love it. I love it.
I like conversations like this.
Yes.
And on the flip side, I want to add some legendary characters or mythological characters into the roster. I would want Hulk to be Bernardo Carpio. You can Google that if you want. It's a legendary character here where this is a guy who was able to stop two mountains from bumping into each other. So it's like Hulk, it can be super strong. And imagine he can move mountains. And I know there's an episode somewhere where Hulk literally lifted an entire island by himself and kept it from sinking while kicking ass. Another villain, So he's that. I think that's
nice.
Hulk for me. Black Widow is like what I mentioned earlier. Maria Macabebe. She's not that popular among all national heroes, but simply because she's like an underground spy, and she was able to manipulate Spanish officers during their time. Jump through groups, but still ultimately help the revolution to move forward.
Nice.
So yeah, there's that. Hmm. Not an Avenger, but I characterize Antonio Luna as Wolverine.
Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because they're both like feisty,
Yeah,
get
I
on my
know,
wrong
right?
side and I
They're both.
slash you.
Yeah, they're both aggressive.
I can actually imagine Antonio Luna having claws.
Oh my gosh! Yes. Yes,
So,
please.
yeah. Not an Avenger, but definitely, an idea worth pondering on.
That's awesome. So, just so you know, if Kawangis started a comic book with Andres Bonifacio,
It started here.
It started here.
It started here.
This is
Yes, it
where
did.
it started.
Let it be recorded and let it be known.
Yes, yes. You'll be a God of War version of Andres Bonifacio fighting all the legends in the Philippines.
That'll be dope.
That'll be crazy.
That'll be awesome.
That'll be awesome.
I love the
Call it here. Well, Kuya Aria, we thank you, man. We thank you for joining us.
Yeah, man.
And being part of this. This is amazing. One of my favorite, for sure. One of my favorite
Definitely.
podcasts.
I enjoyed it.
Where can people find
Thank you, CB, and thank you also, Wanka, for inviting me here and getting me here.
Dude,
Yeah.
it's our pleasure. It's our honor. But
Right.
where can people find you in the social media world, and how can they connect with you?
Yeah, well, Kawangis Komiks we have our own Facebook page, but for simplicity's sake, you can just type into your browser www.kawangis.com and you should be able to find our website, which could lead you to all of our platforms. We have Facebook, we have Instagram.
Nice.
I believe we have TikTok, but I'm not sure. Someone else is managing that. We currently have an online store, but I think right now it's pretty much limited to the Philippine territory.
Yeah.
But definitely, if you follow us, we'll keep you updated because we're currently working on possibilities of having Kawangis also available in US and in other markets.
Yeah.
And maybe we could also help the Philippine comic industry be available as well in that area.
So you guys don't ship in states yet?
Well, we can facilitate. They can message us directly. They can send us an email, especially. But we would encourage that they would order in bulk because like shipping from the Philippines going out is quite expensive compared to from the US going to the Philippines.
Yeah, I agree.
So to encourage for those who want to look into that, we encourage to gather what you would want to order so we can bulk it in and then ship it out in one, so you can save more on the shipping cost.
Yeah.
But we'll keep everyone follow us so we can keep you updated because we might be able to get a partner to distribute in the US and have it printed locally in the US. So,
That's awesome.
It's a lot easier and a lot
a lot better.
faster.
Yeah. Well, if you enjoyed this podcast and you haven't been subscribed to this podcast, I don't even know what you're doing right now. Like you're all the way this podcast right now and you haven't subscribed.
What the hell are you thinking?
I know. What are you doing? You better subscribe right now. If you enjoyed this podcast, please share. Tell your friends about this. Tell your comic book friends about them. You know, and share, comment, like this podcast. And again, we want to say thank you to you, Kuya Aria, for joining us. And
thank you guys.
Yeah, and to you guys that's watching this. Yeah. And for Wakka, CB, and Kuya Aria, we'll see you guys later. Bye.
Bye.